Hi guys, we are continuing with the chapter of Constitution. In the previous video we have seen why the Constitution is important and necessary. In this video we'll see what make the Constitution an effective Constitution or the authority of the Constitution. There are many factors. The four important factors has been mentioned in NCERT. We'll go through each one of them one by one. Mode of promulgation. This refers to how Constitution has evolved over a period of time. If we see successful Constitution around the world like in India, South Africa and United States, we will find that there was a mass movement before writing the Constitution of these countries. This mass movement has a property to include every section of the society and build consensus on the ideas, values, principles that would be there in Constitution. In case of India, the Constitution is written by Constituent Assembly, and all the major leaders who took part in the national movement were part of the Constituent Assembly, except Mahatma Gandhi, who was not part of the Constituent Assembly. These leaders were immensely popular among masses and they had the backing of masses. They had the capacity to negotiate and build consensus. That is why when the Constitution was written, it had the consensus of that time. This gave the public authority to the Constitution, though there was never a full-fledged referendum conducted to make Constitution in India. But because these leaders were immensely popular, they had the backing of masses, the Constitution that was written had the public authority. This made the Constitution a effective one. The second factor that is mentioned in the NCERT is substantive provisions of Constitution. It is hallmark of a successful Constitution that it gives everyone in a society some reason to go along with its provision. Every section of society has some reason to follow the Constitution. If we see it through an example, for tribal area management, there is 5th and 6th schedule mentioned in the Constitution. In these, it is mentioned how the tribal areas would be managed by the people of belonging to this community and how their tradition and culture could be maintained. Similarly, the provision is given for minority and other section of the society. These provisions ensure that every section of society involved in the Constitution and they get benefited out of it, and so they have the reason to follow the Constitution. The third factor is balanced institutional design. If we see Constitution around the world, we will find that constitutions are not subverted by people or the masses. Constitutions are subverted by the few people who want to enhance their own power. So to deal with such situation, Constitution of India has intelligently divided power of government among institutions like legislature, executive, judiciary, and independent bodies like election commission. So that if one institution tomorrow tried to subvert the Constitution, the other institution could check the transgression made by the institution. So this is how it ensures that Constitution remain effective one. The property of checks and balances among institutions make it an effective one. The fourth factor mentioned in the NCERT is right balance of rigidity and flexibility. If the Constitution is too rigid, it will break down under its own weight. And if it's too flexible, then it won't provide security, predictability, or identity to the people. With time, the new values emerge, and from the operations point of view, it is necessary that the new values emerging should be there in the constitution. So it should be flexible to imbibe those values. At the same time, there are some core values which we want to remain intact, and the amendment to these values is nearly impossible or very difficult. So the constitution is effective if it strikes a right balance between flexibility and the rigidity. So this is how the four factors: mode of promulgation, right balance of rigidity and flexibility, balanced institutional design, and substantive provision of constitution for all in the society makes our constitution an effective one. We'll see remaining part of this chapter in next video. Thanks for watching this video.